Welcome, guys. Welcome to this episode. I'm so happy to see you. This is David Pulphus Speaks. I am David Pulphus, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about investing 101, the top 10 lessons to becoming a savvy investor. So the reason why I'm doing this, guys, because there's a lot of, well, it's always been the case, but there's a lot of buzz going around about investing, and I just want to clear the air a little bit because people think they're investing some, and I don't think they really are. Not to be judgy, but I think there's some, well, I guess there's some protocols or some attributes that if you take into consideration and really stick with your fundamentals, I think that you can become a better savvy, become a better investor, and then with the hopes of becoming a savvy investor. So these are some lessons that my first financial mentor gave to me. I was able to sit at his foot and just really partake of the wisdom nuggets that he dropped and deposited into me, and I just want to share with you guys, and with the hopes that you will have the same amount of success, if not better, than what I've partaken in. If you follow these steps and apply them with fidelity, I know that you will have the necessary skills to become a savvy investor. Now, will you do it? Well, I don't know. It's always up to you. Remember, the choice is yours. But when abundance is your birthright, it's always upon you and your conscious mind. You will only partake of that which you are able to discern. So keep that in mind, but know that you got to have the necessary ingredients if you're going to make the type of cake that you really trying to bake. You dig what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm dropping? All right, cool. So listen, the first lesson that I learned was, he said, don't be average. I think, which is kind of like, don't be mediocre. Don't live in mediocrity. There's so much ordinary out there, and don't just choose not to be average. And the secret to being extraordinary is to consciously be and do a little extra every day with your ordinary daily tasks. So if you look at the word extraordinary, it's the word extra and ordinary. So if we just do a little bit more than what the ordinary is doing, then you will see your body of work will amass of you being extraordinary. So that's one of the first lessons I want to instill into you. The second is that buying and hoping it will go up in value is not investing. It's speculation, or it's his first cousin, gambling. And let me say that there's nothing wrong with gambling and speculation if that's what you feel like you're doing, or if that's what you feel drawn to do. But just understand what you're doing. Don't think you're investing when you're really speculating and when you're really gambling. They're very two things, and they actually have different outcomes. See, a savvy investor gathers information, okay? They see a particular problem that's going on, or they see the opportunity for to solve a problem. They gather information, they analyze the data, they understand what their risk reward ratio is. They understand what levers that they got to meet, what criteria has to be established in order for them to move forward based upon what the potential reward is going to be. You dig what I'm saying? So they have a clear understanding of their risk reward ratio, and then they use investment dollars to acquire their necessary assets. And a lot of times they use the same investing dollars to buy investments, and then they pull out their initial investment seed and they just keep moving and buying more and more and more assets with those set amount of investment dollars. Okay, pay yourself first. Now, this is very, very important. Let me ask you a question. Who wants to be a millionaire? Show of hands. Okay. A lot of people say yes. Right? That's the natural inclination to have more, to do more, to have, so that you can really help those that you want to, and so you can live in a level of where you feel comfortable that you don't have to worry about money ever again. It's a natural state. Perpetual increase is our natural state of being. So most people really do want to be a millionaire, but guess what? It's not going to happen until you first make a decision to be a millionaire, because nothing happens till you make a decision. Once you make a decision, then you immediately flip the switch and you transmute to that frequency in which a millionaire exists, or whatever it is you're trying to obtain. And then, guys, you got to actually make a plan to be a millionaire. Listen, it's not hard to become a millionaire. You just got to have a plan after you make a decision. So if you set aside an X amount of dollars per week, per month, per day, per year. And you put it in just the most conservative asset class, it will grow within 15 to 20 years to $1 million. But you got to be disciplined and just set aside $20 a month. It will grow exponentially, because what that does when you have it in an asset class that has a minimal of, like, I guess anywhere from like 9 to 11% return, you can get. It will grow with compound interest, and then it can easily be $1 million within 15, 20 years. So you got to have a plan. But before you do that, you got to have these buckets. You got to understand, how your money flows. You got to understand all the money that you bring in, and then you got to set aside, okay, I'm going to pay myself 10% first. Then I'm going to save 10%. And then that leaves me with, some people want to invest, some people want to give to charity or tithe. Put another 10%. And then you have the 70% to live off of, as far as paying bills and whatever expenditures or, the things that you want to spend your money on. Those are some, that's an easy breakdown of buckets that you can put it into. You can slide those percentages in any capacity that fits with your budget. I don't care if you're making $1 a day or $100 a day or $100,000 a day. You define, and you need to choose how much you're going to set aside for the sole purpose of investing, for the sole purpose of saving, for the sole purpose of giving, and then you make sure all your obligations are taken care of. Just have a plan, guys. You dig what I'm saying? All right. Next, the fourth thing you should do. Savvy investors, they always know their exit strategy before they buy. This is crucial. See, because when you understand why you're buying it and knowing how you're going to get out of it, if you choose to do so, then you stay grounded. You won't let the ebb and flows of the market dictate your actions. The market, it goes up and down and stay the same. That's what it does. That's its nature. It abides in the law of rhythms, so as we do. So once you understand why you bought this particular asset class in the beginning, or why you invest into this asset class in the beginning, you won't be just let all the outside forces, treat you like a little rag doll and take you all over the place. So it's very important that you establish, when you're doing your analysis, to understand how you're going to get out of it. You got to work. It's like backwards planning. Work from the end and from the end result. Plan from the end and know how you're gonna get in, but also know your escape route if you need to, get out of it at any given time. You picking up what I'm dropping? All right, cool. The next one is to invest. Savvy investors know a good deal is good at the moment you purchase, not because your numbers. Not because hold on, this isn't. A good deal is good when at the moment you purchase, because you know your numbers, not by praying for something later. Right. So, sorry about that, guys. So listen, basically what this means is that a lot of people, like, let's say real estate, some people may buy something that is really has a negative cash flow, and then they hope that it's gonna, they can make it turn into something better. Well, savvy investor may not consider that a good deal, because of what you want to have as much control of the investment asset class as possible, so that no matter what, it's good at that point that you do purchase. You can do things to it that will add value and that it will appreciate, but that's greater. That's icing on the cake. That's it. At the very core, it must be stable and stable enough for all your parameters to say yes, that it makes sense now to buy now, and that you can see how profit is going to be made now. And then you do want to have future profit, because that's the whole point of investing, but it's not contingent upon what it's going to do in the future. Does it make sense? It can be a little confusing, but there's a thin line between understanding how to analyze a deal, if it's a good deal right now, or if it's going to be a good deal later. Sometimes you can do something that's going to be a good deal later, but understand that you're doing that. So I just want to make sure that everyone is functioning from a level of understanding instead of just guessing and hoping. Okay, make sense? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let me go back to the play button. I hit the escape button. My bad. All right. So the next thing that a savvy investor does, as savvy investors likes to minimize their risk. One of those lessons is that my mentor said. He said that, and it's true. All investment, but not investments, but everything in life, everything is pretty risky, you know. But we gain knowledge of a thing to minimize the risk. Like driving a car is really risky. But you don't let anybody drive a car. You know, I will submit that maybe we shouldn't even let like 15, 16-year-olds drive cars. You know, we don't let them drink until they're 21, technically, unless you're in here in New Orleans. But it's like, man, driving a car is a really big, dangerous apparatus that can be deadly. But you minimize those risks by learning how to drive, understanding what the acceleration pedal does, understanding the brake pedal, understanding what all the side mirrors and the rear view mirrors and how to navigate all this stuff. I mean, these are knowledge. What word I'm looking for? These are skills that a person acquires so that they can minimize their risk by not texting on the phone while you driving. You know, so likewise in investments, savvy investors they understand, they run their numbers, they're thorough, they do due diligence, and they try to think of and see what every angle that could possibly happen with this investment, so that it will determine whether or not their risk reward ratio, once again, if it meets that criteria. If it does meet that criteria, then they run with it. But if it doesn't, you just keep moving. You know, you analyze 100 deals, you see 10 that really meet a certain criteria. You make offers on 3, or you move on 3, and then, you know, you get one that sticks. You know, so those are different. Those are like another ratio that you can deal with too when you looking at deals. You know, you just got to look at a lot of deals. So and understand by looking at multiple deals, you can determine, okay, this is a good deal and this is not a good deal, and you just keep the ball moving. There's an endless supply of deals. It's just, you know, only you can determine what is your risk reward ratio. And once you understand that, knowing thyself and knowing how you flow, then you can determine if that deal is right for you or not. All right, so the other thing that we want to talk about is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. This is something that people think they know, and I will question if they do, because assets and liabilities, they actually change, they shift, they morph into different ones, and sometimes very quickly. Assets feed you, liabilities eat you. Okay, so like most people think that their house or their car is an asset. Well, on your financial statement, it shows up as actually on the liability, because you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay for your car, you got to pay for the expense of that. But on a financial statement is really not complete till you at least have 2, because what is a liability for some is an asset to others. So as you pay that liability, you're feeding somebody else, and when you pay for your house and your mortgage or your car, you're actually becoming an asset for the people who actually hold that mortgage and that note. So now you can shift your car, you can shift your home from a liability column, from the liabilities column to the asset column by new technologies like Uber and Lyft or Airbnb. So you can actually now have a portion of your house that you can rent out and receive income from. Now, guess what? Now you just created an asset. You can have a home office where you can now write off as a asset, because it's an asset to your business now. So you can, like Uber and Lyft, you can now use your car or rent a car to now pick up people and take them from point A to point B, because now that what used to be a liability is now an asset. It's feeding you every time you pick and drop somebody else off. So it's very important, guys, that we understand the difference between the two, and know how to manipulate them and use them to do things that we need to make happen. The 8th thing that a savvy investor understands is the difference between earned income and passive income. So check this out. So when you have earned income, basically earned income is taxed at the highest level. Earned income requires you to physically do the body of work. And typically you have to continue do that body of work in order to continue to get that particular income. And if you don't actually do that particular act, then you're nine times out of 10 you're not partaking in to earn income. Whereas passive income is usually generated at at the lowest tax bracket. And you receive it residually, meaning that you put in an X amount of hours to create this passive income, but then it actually pays you and sustains you throughout the life of the asset. So as long as you have that asset, it can not only pay for itself, but then it can pay for you as well. And then you can actually will it, transfer it, inherit it, or leave it to your kids, leave it as an inheritance. It's something that can stay and reproduce for you, and you can actually have it multiple streams of passive income that all funnel toward you. So it's a huge difference between earned income and passive income, and understanding the difference and knowing how to create those differences will determine how savvy you become. And it just, it's really a powerful understanding. These tools are powerful concepts that we all too often are not taught about. The ninth thing that savvy investors know is the power of leverage. The power of leverage. It was Archimedes said that if you give me a lever long enough and a place to stand at, I will move the entire earth. So it's and that's so powerful, because typically, you want to learn how to use other people's money, other people's time, other people, and I'm not meaning this in a manipulative way. I mean, our whole capitalist society is actually based upon bartering and getting paid for tapping into other people's money, other people's time, other people's wisdom, other people's knowledge. And if you know how to use these attributes to your advantage to work as a team, or to use a system that allows you to do and multiply the efforts of just one person or you times infinite, then this is something that savvy investors really want to use and hone that skill set like at a high capacity. And I will implore you that to tap into leverage is any and every way that you can, so that you can actually multiply your efforts by you using the power of more than one to bring about what you're really trying to do. Is your dream to be a millionaire, or is it to go to space or go to Disneyland? It doesn't matter what it is. But if you really understand leverage, then you work smarter and not harder. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? All right. And the last thing that is very important, that what savvy investors use is a simple concept. It's to buy low and sell high. It's very simple, but all too often we get it turned around because we go on these emotional roller coaster rides, and when you do that, you forget your fundamentals. You forgot your exit strategy. You forgot why you're doing what you're doing. You just are letting everything pull you to and fro. But the caveat is that you buy low and sell high. If that is your exit strategy, it may not be your exit strategy. It may be to hold throughout the duration. So understand what you're doing before you do it and why you're doing it, so that you can stay on the path and then you achieve the results that you try to make happen. All right, so basically that's it, guys. I wanted this to be short and sweet. This is basically my savvy investor checklist. I implore you to guys watch it over. Adopt these principles, learn these lessons. I want you to be as pilots. I travel a lot, and every time I travel, it doesn't matter which airline, privately, commercially, the pilot once it gets into the cockpit, it has a long list that it must check off. Check. And if they don't check off all these items, guess what? They don't fly, because they know they won't go up. Or if they go up, they won't stay up very long, or they won't land correctly. So if you employ a checklist, a simple checklist that deals with the fundamentals of what you're doing, then you will have great success. You will be able to as the plane takes off, your investments, you have all the investments that you deal with will take off, and you will see the growth, and you can duplicate this with a consciousness, a competence, and a consciousness that you know that you can do it over and over and over again. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick video about my 10 lessons of becoming a savvy investor. If you subscribe to my channel, I will be documenting the different investment vehicles that I'm actually using right now, and you can see my my track record. I will show you my growth, my journey. In essence, I will show you my results so that you can either be inspired to partake of, or just to be on the sideline and say, "Wow, that's really cool." But I challenge you, if you on the sidelines, just don't be on the sidelines. Get in the game. No, this game is for everyone. If you just partake of it, you will understand and see how you can really tap into your deepest dreams and desires that you thought maybe stay dormant or just stay up in the clouds somewhere, and that you never partake of. So I want to really encourage you to understand that abundance is your birthright, but you will only partake of that which your conscious mind will allow you to prevent. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take great care and have a good day. Bye-bye.